What is going on, ladies and gents? Once again, Michael or Legacy Kill HD back today with another Elder Scrolls 6 video for you. Today we're going to be discussing the location for the upcoming Elder Scrolls game, going over 5 possibilities with recent leaks, news, lore, and much more regarding each location. Make sure to dive into the comments below and let me know what your thoughts are on the next Elder Scrolls 6 location. And guys, if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter. I'm going to throw up a poll asking you where you think Elder Scrolls 6 will be taking place. So you guys make sure to get interactive with that, and also get interactive in the comments. Want to hear what your thoughts are. And let's dive into the first one, which is Hammerfell, the land of the Redguards, which was once of the Dwemer Rorken clan. When the Rorken clan emigrated from Morrowind, the leader threw his mighty hammer Voldendrung across Tamriel and proclaimed that his clan would settle wherever it landed. That ended up in the region which is now called Hammerfell, which is self-explanatory of how the province was actually named. It's an arid land consisting mostly of deserts, mountains, and grasslands. The few forests of Hammerfell are found mainly along the coast and along the borders between Hammerfell, High Rock, and Skyrim. The Alakar Desert takes up all of the western region of Hammerfell and is widely regarded as the most inhospitable region in all of Tamriel. Recently, they were involved in the Great War, fighting the Thalmor alongside the Empire until the Great War ended with the White Gold Concordat Treaty, which gave the Thalmor free reign to stamp out the worship of Talos throughout the Empire and ceded a large section of southern Hammerfell, which the Redguards rejected, and the Emperor renounced Hammerfell as a province of the Empire to preserve the treaty. And the Redguards actually continued fighting the Thalmor for 5 more years until finally the Thalmor withdrew from Hammerfell. Although I think this is probably the biggest long shot, I think this would also be a lot of fun just because I'm a very avid fan of the Dwemer, and if the Dwemer did return, a lot of people do assume that they would return to Hammerfell. But personally, I don't think we're going to be getting Hammerfell in the next Elder Scrolls game, but there's always a chance. You got to hold on to that, and with different terrains and different environments, I think it would be a lot of fun to explore. Now to the next possible location for the Elder Scrolls 6, Akavir, which is a continent east of Tamriel, and it features a lot of different types of things, but it's mainly known for being the Dragonland. Akavir has 4 known races: the Snow Demons of Kamal, the Serpent Men of Saci, the Monkey People of Tangmo, and the Tiger Dragons of Cape Patun. This would probably be the biggest curveball move that Bethesda could bring, but it would also allow us to explore the Dragonland, where they played a much bigger role than what they have in Tamriel. The main character of Morrowind actually set out on a voyage to Akavir, and there is some lore and some history with Tamriel and Akavir, as Tamriel was actually invaded by the Saci towards the end of the First Era, but the invasion was actually halted by Raymond I and his armies. The Akaviri forces were destroyed, and those who remained living were offered amnesty to fight for the Empire. The Akaviri who accepted later played important roles in Tamriel's growing society, such as one being the Blades formation. And one other type of event that actually happened was that in the Third Era, Uriel V took the throne of the Empire. He led a series of invasions leading up to an assault upon Akavir, but ultimately it led with the invasion failing and Uriel dying. This would probably be the biggest Elder Scrolls game we have ever gotten. It would also give us a fresh touch to the Elder Scrolls games, being something that nothing any of us could really think about what it could be like. I mean, we don't know much about these races and how they are, but we definitely know that this is a huge landmass, and there would be a lot of fun to explore these different types of terrains and different types of environments, and also we would get dragons back again. Now to our next possible Elder Scrolls 6 location, we have Black Marsh. We only know of a couple of races other than the Argonians. We know of the Hist, which are sentient trees native to Black Marsh that seem to be all connected through a hive-like system. And then we have the Lilmuthite. I'm not sure if I said that 100% right, but they are a mysterious, long unseen beast race that are thought to be extinct. They are humanoid in form and vulpine appearance. Black Marsh is known for their swampland rainforests. The province is filled with great inland waterways and impenetrable swamps. What I imagine the Argonian land as is kind of like The Witcher 3's Velen. I think it would really bring a lot of mystery in a different type of way that Skyrim was. You know, Skyrim was mysterious and dark, but this would be mysterious, and you'd have different types of creatures around you in a different type of land that we've never seen in the Elder Scrolls series. But that's mainly just what my interpretation of what I see Black Marsh as being. I'm sure everybody has a different type of interpretation, but either way, I think it would be definitely a refreshing touch on the Elder Scrolls series to have the game being placed in Black Marsh. But some history to know about Black Marsh is that they were involved in the Oblivion Crisis. The Hist actually stopped pretty much an attack on the Argonian land, They pretty much gave the heads up to the Argonians and pretty much told them about the invasion of the Daedra that was happening. What led up was pretty much they successfully brought the Daedra back into the Oblivion Gates and drove them off, which led to them succeeding from the Empire and becoming its own independent state, and that led to the Fourth Era, the 5th year, them invading Morrowind. They exacted revenge on the Dunmer and put much of the southern Morrowind in their control. They were only driven back by House Redoran after devastating much of the south, including the former capital of Morrowind, Mournhold. There are many different type of plot possibilities for the Elder Scrolls 6 if it is placed in Black Marsh. There's obviously the conflict with the Dunmer, and then you have the conflict with if they do take a side in the Great War with the Thalmor or the Empire. If there's a Great War 2 coming, there probably will be the question if Argonians do take a place with this. Do they just continue being an independent state, or do they take a place in this war? Now to our next Elder Scrolls 6 possible location, we have Elsweyr, the land of the Khajiit. It is said to contain harsh badlands and dry plains with fertile growing regions covered in jungle and rainforest to the south. A lot of Elsweyr is unknown and a mystery, but what we do know is that the Elsweyr Confederacy joined the Aldmeri Dominion after they stopped an event known as the Void Nights, an event in which the 2 moons of Nirn disappeared for 2 years. When the moons reappeared, the Thalmor took credit, in which the Khajiit saw them as saviors, as the moons are very important to their religion, causing a massive decline in the imperial influence in the region. A coup then overthrew the Elsweyr Confederacy, creating the 2 kingdoms of Anaquina and Palatine, with the Aldmeri Dominion accepting them as client states. And one of their spiritual leaders, the Main, was actually assassinated, supposedly by the Thalmor during this time. These events happened in the Fourth Era, which led to the Great War. One of the weirdest things about Elder Scrolls Line is that Elsweyr is actually not featured in the game. There's little pieces of it, but most of Elsweyr is unexplorable, which a lot of people take to the assumption that Elder Scrolls 6 will be taking place in Elsweyr because of that. I'm not entirely sure about that, but it definitely is weird. Maybe they'll have an expansion later on, but that does beg the question, could this mean Elsweyr is the next Elder Scrolls game just because of this? Now down to our last Elder Scrolls 6 possible location, we have Valenwood. We only know of a few races within Valenwood. We know of the Bosmer, also known as the Wood Elves, which are the major species. We also knew of the Amiga, who were the Great Apes. They saw the High Elves as their lords and masters, and as a portrait of an ideal civilized society, but the Amiga disappeared sometime during the Second Era. I believe it was the year 582. They were a very interesting race, as I've read, and it kind of is disappointing, and I hope that somehow, if the game does take place in Valenwood, they do have a role in the game. But we also know of one other race, which are known as the Hollow. They are a unique Senian race that served the Wilder King. They are made from stone and the reanimated bodies from deceased inhabitants of Valenwood. Valenwood has a largely uninhabited forest wilderness. The coasts of Valenwood are dominated by mangrove swamp and subtropical rainforests. There was a memo that actually came out about Project Greenheart from E3 in 2014, which Greenheart itself is a city within Valenwood, which got a lot of people thinking Valenwood could be the next Elder Scrolls 6 location. I actually did a video on that. I'll throw a link in the description and an annotation so you guys can check that out. Some recent history to know about: in the Fourth Era, the year 29, sympathizers of the Thalmor in Valenwood, the homeland of the Bosmer, overthrew the imperial administration of Valenwood and joined Valenwood with the Somerset Isles to form the Third Aldmeri Dominion. However, the Mede Empire and its allies in Valenwood would not bow down easily. The Imperial Legion, aided by the Empire's Bosmer allies, fought against the coup. It was at this time that the Empire first tested the true might of the Aldmeri Dominion. The Otmar armies invaded Valenwood, driving out the Imperial Legion and its Bosmer allies and securing Valenwood for the Dominion. The war left the Empire weakened, paving the way for the Great War. I definitely think Valenwood makes the most sense story-wise. If the Empire and the Aldmeri Dominion do face off again, I can see Valenwood being a very big battleground between these factions. But you could definitely make the case for some of these other provinces, such as Elsweyr, Black Marsh, or Hammerfell, as they have played a major role during the Great War. Let me know in the comment section where you guys think Elder Scrolls 6 will be taking place. You guys have heard my thoughts. I really do hope for a Valenwood and Elsweyr together, just because I feel like those two landmasses together, they're both smaller in size, and I feel like if you put them together with different types of environments, it could make a very good Elder Scrolls 6 game. But either way, there's so many different types of options. It doesn't necessarily have to be these 5 locations. Anyway guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Make sure you smack the like button if you did enjoy the video. Check out some of the other Elder Scrolls 6 video in the playlist. And also don't forget about the poll. Make sure you guys let me know your thoughts and what you guys think the Elder Scrolls 6 location will be. And don't forget also to subscribe. So many more Elder Scrolls 6 videos to come, and I'll see you guys later.